On the next street.
We have a theme this morning, which is tenacity, transformation, and trust, a force for good. And so I'll just give a few remarks about that, as I recognize that whereas we take the time for devotion as the first thing we do, we still have to jump directly into the other things that we do to set the year right. So this theme of tenacity, transformation, and trust, which we are going to have a little bit, just say a few remarks on. Well, the first one is tenacity. And in that context, I see 2022 and this beginning of a year as the beginning of a year of opportunities. So my mind is not focused on the burden of what we do, but the opportunities of what we do. 2021 had its own challenges. We were still dealing with COVID-19, and we will still deal with it this year. But this is going into the third year of it. And people are learning to live with it more. I think people are living with it. We are. And although it created some additional challenges for us as we went to police people who we would not normally police, to get them to do things that are out of line with what they normally do. But it's part of our job, of course, to, one, enforce laws, but also to explain to our population why we do what we do. And it's always in the interest and the best interest of the overall society. And that's why we do it. And that's why the members of the JCF who have been out there over the past year, who have demonstrated the tenacity in the face of COVID-19, in the face of some financial constraints, in the face of the loss of a number of our members, whether through tragic circumstances or just illness. I think some 38 we lost last year. That's a lot of officers. Or the fact that we're operating in an environment that the people who want to do harm to the society, we still need to address some of the legal issues surrounding them and ensuring that they are concerned about us and about the country that gives them no succor. There's no space for those people who wish to do harm to the population. We will continue our advocacy, obviously, in 2022 for getting some of those changes done. But more importantly, we'll continue our work. Now, our work last year led to an 8% reduction in crime, in major crime. We have a population worried about crime, but sometimes as well, it's what they hear and of course what our population is exposed to. We as the police cannot not ignore that. And this year, we'll come out harder. We'll come out in a more effective way. We'll push against those people who wish to do harm to our population harder than we did last year. That's the nature of tenacity. Tenacity isn't to cling on with your fingernails to the cliffside. It is to lean forward into the wind and push and keep doing what you're doing, because just on the other side of that resistance is your success. And just on the other side of that resistance is the success of our country and the safety of our people. That's what we have committed to, and that's what we will do. This is our tenacity. And there are a number of plans, there are a number of things that we're going to do a little differently, whilst maintaining those things that were successful. The other area that I'm going to speak about briefly, about transformation, of course, regardless of the challenges that we faced, and those challenges, those fiscal challenges and those that I enumerated before, we still managed to keep every transformation activity that we had embarked upon going. Some may have been slowed down, but all of them remained intact and kept pushing on them. Now, these things that we've invested in, this transformation that we're investing in, is what's going to give us the capability to deliver the better service to the country. And I'm confident that some of the things we started last year and before will come to fruition this year and start to impact what we're doing this year. It's what's allowing us that by the end of this financial year to have recruited 1,200 plus police officers, the largest amount ever in a year. And the impact of that means that the demands are so high that we won't be sending 5 police officers to a division, but 50 or 35 or 40, depending on what the requirement is. Amount that can really make a difference to policing, and that the people in that community or in those communities that are served will feel the difference in terms of the policing they receive. At the same time, we don't ignore the concerns of our members, the concerns about promotion, the concerns about other welfare issues that they're taking care of. And so this year, we'll continue the process of building out our capacity to do those things. We will continue with our promotional development programs that have seen a lot of people, a lot of officers being placed in a position to be promoted, where they have that knowledge required for the rank that they're going to be promoted to and have the confidence to police with that knowledge. And the third theme that I'll make a few remarks on is that business of trust. Now, this is a significant one that we as a force have to continue that process of building. Now, we build it through a number of things, but we build it mainly through the responses we give to members of the public when they come seeking help. In an environment that has high violence, and in an environment where the whole discussion is about murder, we as the police force still have to pay attention to the person who is seeking help for something that does not involve violence and does not involve death, but involves any of the other things that we are required to deliver as police officers. We cannot pay scant regard to those things, because if a member of the public has sought our help, it means that they're depending on us. It means that they don't have somewhere else to go. They come to us. We have to make sure that those things that are laid down in our regulations, in our rules, in our processes are carried out in the way it's laid down. But more importantly, from our members we require a level of willingness to help, a willingness to support, a willingness to find solutions for the people who come seeking help. These are the things that build trust. So even as we emphasize, even within our divisional plans, the need to interact with the community, that foundational connection between the police force and the communities that we serve. We know that in some communities, we are the single touch point of the state. And so we, as the police force, not only require, in order to be successful in what we do, the public support, we police with and by consent of our population. It is important, it's critical, that our members, even when you're tired, even when you're fatigued, even when you're faced with difficulties, treat every single member of the public with respect, with concern, and certainly anybody who comes to our facilities, our police stations, or stop us on the road, in our patrols, must be seen to. We must build that trust with them that makes them know that we are concerned about their safety, their security, and their issues. When we do that, and as we get better and better at doing that, the response from our public will get better and better. It's not a high command thing. It is a JCF thing, this transformation. And that's why we've involved members at every level of the organization in this process. So we have just three things to do this year. I wouldn't say three little things. I'd say three big things. But if we do those three things, then this year will end up more successful than last year. And that's what we're aiming for, and that's what we're aiming to do. And of course, the end of that theme is : a force for good. And that has been the bedrock of all of that. All of this sits on that. And all of this, if we get this right, we will have that force for good within Jamaica that people will cherish. People will support. And people will throw their weight behind us and what we're doing, because you have an abiding belief that your society should be a place that is safe and secure for all of us.